Okay, so I'm going to just kind of walk you through how to use the back end of WordPress here. So while we're still on the development server here, you'll go to dreamnest.guidoclient.com. We'll do /WP, which stands for WordPress, and then admin. And that will take you to a login screen where you will put in your username and password and log into the back end of WordPress for your website. So this is where you can make all the content edits and add new projects and etc. etc. So I'm going to actually open up the front end of this too. So to make any edits to the home page, those are found under Appearance and Widgets. And because the home page has kind of a unique layout from the rest of the site, it's kind of broken up into widget areas versus the more traditional content editor that you'll see in a moment. So these different sections, some of these are editable from the widgets anyway. The welcome message is here, and this is just basically a text editor. You've got the title, the content. Same thing for the services section, which is very basic. Obviously, it's just those links to real estate and interior design, and then the contact form in the footer, which there's not much to edit there either, just the title. The rest of it is kind of edited, it's formatted dynamically, or gets filled in with content dynamically. So the posts here are what will show up in your blog. Making edits to these is super simple, and the editor for the blog and the pages here are a little bit different than projects. This is the newest version of the text editor for WordPress. It's pretty intuitive actually, but basically everything are just these little blocks. So this here is a title block, and you can edit it. And then there's just these content blocks. You could add additional blocks by clicking here. Paragraph, it's just content. Include photo galleries and images, headings. Those are probably the most that you'll use. And then each blog you can attach a featured image. This one already has one, but if I were to click on this, it'll bring up this media library that has all of the images that I've already uploaded for the site. You could select a different one to be the featured image. You can also add additional images from your computer by hitting upload file, select images. It will bring up the little file explorer here, and then you can select the images you want to upload and include that as well. So editing blog posts is pretty basic. You can also add new ones. So if you wanted to add a new blog post, title, start adding blocks, add images, set a featured image, and this will automatically show up on the blog page once it's published. And then it'll show up matching this format, and then you can click through to actually read the whole article. The pages, so pages are kind of the rest of these static pages where, and they're not all actually static. So design and real estate, there's nothing, well, there's a little bit of content on these, but let's see, real estate doesn't have anything content-wise other than the title. You'll see over here that there's a template that's been selected. So on this page and the projects page, the design page, there's a template that basically tells this page to pull up all of the real estate projects, all the content for each one, and display them. So there's nothing really to edit there. This page is kind of automatic. It's same thing with the design page. It's going to operate in the same way, where when you want to edit the content on this, really what you're doing is you're editing one of these two items here. But let's go to the About page, because that is a static page that has content on it. And you'll notice it has that same kind of content editor that you saw for the blog post. And now I know we've got new content coming for this, so this is not necessarily super relevant, but this is how you would go in and make edits to that. It's pretty easy to figure out. If you want to move blocks, they've got this little kind of drag and drop interface here too, so you could drag it up or use the arrows. Moving over to projects, so this is where you guys would probably go to edit some of these galleries, the content, and obviously add new projects as they come along. So what I've done here on these is just used the WordPress's galleries. There's two ways you can go about this. If you just do one single gallery that has a bunch of images in it, which is what I think I've done on some of these, and I realized as I was uploading these that you guys are going to want to go through these projects and edit kind of the amount of photos that are here, because some of them are fairly redundant in what they're showing, like this one here and this one here. I'm assuming you'll probably go through and select the ones that you like the best. So rather than me taking too much liberty on deciding how to show off your work, I figured I'd get everything up there and let you guys make those edits. So this project is set up with just a single gallery. And again, a lot of that had to do with the fact that I wasn't sure which of some of the duplicate photos or similar photos that you'd want to use. But you can go here and click on the gallery and edit it. And what's going to happen is it's going to bring up all of the images that are included in the gallery. And here's where you could go in and start removing some of these. Now, the way that the galleries are laid out, it kind of auto formats it based on how many photos there are and some of the dimensions of the photos. You may be okay with this layout, and I mean it looks nice enough. It's, you know, it's not quite as customized looking as what I did on the Quail Ridge Drive project, which I'll go to that now. So going back here, if you wanted to edit any of these or remove any of them, excuse me, you could just click on here. If you wanted to add to the gallery, you could upload new additional pictures or select anything from the media library, and it would add it to the gallery. I'm going to go back to the projects list here and bring up the Quail Ridge Drive. So this one, you'll notice that the layout on this project is a little bit different in that it's got like this row of 3 and then this large image and then 2. I kind of match this to what you have on the existing site. It's probably I'm guessing this is going to be the more desired option for these, just because it gives a little more variety and kind of highlights some of these nice large photos that you have. What I did there is I kind of alternated between, this is a gallery here where I included 3 pictures, and then I just did an image block. So when you add a new block, you've got gallery and you've got image. I just did an image block for these big ones. So you can kind of hand select if you want to, you know, you could do a gallery with like 6 pictures and then a big one, a big single image if you wanted to. You could do 2, and, you know, like I did down here. So there's several, you know, there's options for both of those. When you do add these galleries, one of the things you want to select over here on the right, some of the options will come up for the gallery. You can dictate how many columns. It's automatically going to do 2 columns for this one because there's 2. There would be no reason to do anything different, I guess, unless you wanted to stack them. You could do a single column. But selecting link to media file is important on these, because then when somebody clicks on them, it brings up a larger version of the photo. And you know, that's pretty user intuitive and what people are going to expect. So making sure that when you upload these, that you're selecting link to media file, so that they all have the option to kind of pop up. So you can add a new project at any point. So, you know, if you have new ones that you still want to put in there, or as you know, build up your portfolio and want to keep updating content, this is how you do it. Add a title. The way I have this set up is the title is what will show up here. So basically the name of the project, and you guys have been using addresses kind of to name them, or street names, I guess, really. So street name would go there. If you wanted to have a little intro, most of them you didn't, but like on this one, you have a little introduction. It will show up there, whatever you put here. And then you've got a couple more fields down here. Why can't I scroll down? Project location. So that's essentially going to add, I know I can't scroll down because there's nothing else. So on the projects, you just have the location, which is like Camarillo. You had those listed on some of them, but rather than have Camarillo or whatever listed next to the title, I created a separate kind of little location there where you could add like the city or whatever, and that will show up on the project page itself. And then you would just kind of start adding images below if you want to do a little introductory content. So that's, and then setting a featured image, that's the other thing. The featured image is going to determine what is going to show up here. And these are cropped versions, it's a specific file size. So that might kind of help you decide which picture to use. I know you wanted to edit some of those, and that's kind of why I was putting this together for you. So I did set up a category for this too, project types. So far it doesn't probably really make sense to use these. I've got interior design, but all of your projects are basically design projects. So if you did want to categorize them, you could add additional categories. Maybe when you get up to having like 30 or 40 different projects to show, you might want to categorize them just to make them a little easier to sort through, but for now you can just check them as interior design, I guess. And then real estate is basically operates in the same way. There's a little more information on these, and they don't click through to like a more detailed description or page of each one, because I think all of the information is just shown here on the existing site. You didn't have them clicking through to like a more detailed page either. So basically the address is what you were using for the title here, and then we've got location. So again, same thing, city, and state, zip code. You've got your sales price, and then the size of the home, and that's just gonna all populate here in this exact same format. Whatever you type here will be the little blurb that shows up, and then a featured image is this guy here. And those will just kind of populate as you add new ones. They'll automatically show up on that page. I think that is just about everything as far as editing content on the site. Oh, there's one more thing. We've got a little contact form here on the contact page. That's this guy, and then you've also got the footer call to action, which is the same form that I also embedded in that little pop-up. We'll need to get this integrated with whatever third-party newsletter or mailing list system you guys are using. Now, WordPress doesn't actually send out newsletters or organize the list, but that form we will set up so it will populate it for you if you're using like MailChimp or Constant Contact or something like that. If you wanted to edit these forms, like it's really just this stuff here, so you probably won't want to, but you could. The contact form, this is all drag and drop interface. So if you wanted to, change this to full name or something, you wanted to change the description, whatever. If you wanted to add something, like maybe you want to collect their phone number. These are different form elements. Under advanced fields, there's one for phone. You could click on this and it'll show up here, drag it to the order and hit update, and then that would be another field that would be included in your form. WordPress will log every single entry that comes through here, so you'll get notified when somebody fills this out, but it will also be logged in the back end, so you have a record of it and access to that information too. So it's kind of saves it there as well as emailing you. I think that's everything. Oh, menus, yeah. Under appearance menus, you will find There are several menus here on the site. So we've got primary navigation, which is this guy up here, and it's just linking to those different pages. You've also got the footer navigation, which is this guy down here. And then lastly, there's the social media navigation. So if you wanted to edit your Twitter link, this is where you do that. You hit save menu, it'll automatically update here. If you wanted to change the order of them, this is again another drag and drop, so you could put Twitter after Facebook or whatever. I think that covers everything as far as content. The big ones are obviously going to be updating these two. So hopefully this gets you going, and if you have any questions or anything doesn't make sense, ask me and I will be happy to help. And I can add in, do another like video walkthrough if this is helpful, or just answer questions by email or phone or whatever. So, all right.